And what did it really mean? Where I just assumed it was something very different because I felt different. I was experiencing things differently or with more intensity, or that's when the realization was that people love in different ways or have different understandings of what love is.
Mm, mm. And different
Sindrell, would you?
experiences, which is what. So sorry, Jess.
No, keep going.
They have different experiences, and that informs their understanding then of what love is. Go,
Now,
Jess. Thank
Sindrell, would you frame how, if you could, just frame that question again? It was so.
If I can. So the big awareness for me is like, poof, what if love is nothing like you ever thought it was?
There it is.
you. Mm,
Yes, just that wonder.
mm,
Because I'll speak for me, and what I've heard is like there's it's in the experience. And so if love has to be a certain flavor, then I was expecting it to look away, to go away, to it was like fixed. And what I
mm,
noticed was like how my conditioning of growing up, and that's love, that isn't love, and eh, like judging love is what I was doing, putting it in a box, framing it in, trying to hold on to it, yeah, in ways. And it is like just like trying to cage it or put it in jail or lock it up rather than letting love just be free, just to move through, just to allow it to always be there, like at the bottom, and always I can go right down into it and say, there it is, always available. Mm. It was never like what I mean, and for me, it just I think of Disney, right? For me growing up, there was Disney movies, and it framed so much around what I thought love was. Oh, and then I got really smart, right? In like grade school with a crush, right? Oh yeah. That's where it really got smart.
This is so amazing.
mm,
And then we carry that into our relationships, expecting our version of love because that is what we know love is. And what if love was something else?
mm,
Mm,
Yes.
boy, what if loving someone else was just a loving them for who they are, how they are, loving them for the joy of being in their presence? Them loving you for who you are, how you are, your view, expression, sensations of the world together. What if that was just love? Now, on the surface, someone might be like, oh, that's kind of boring. Yeah, could
Yeah.
be. But it's like, no, like there's a depth to it if you allow yourself to go into it.
Exactly.
But we're so afraid of love.
Hmm.
This is good. This is so good.
When my daughter was about, I'd say she was probably about 9 or, yeah, 9, maybe 10. We went on a field trip and she and a little boy in her class they'd had an eye for each other for about 2 years. And so I finally got to meet the mom because I'd said to her at some points, well, if you like him so much, why don't you ask him to come and play? No, 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 you can't do that because he's younger. Anyway, so I meet the mom. She says to me, is the topic at your dinner table similar to the one at ours? And we both just laughed because we knew, that they would talk about each other. And so as we were on our way back coming home, Kayla says to me, why can't we always just stay having a crush, Mum? That way everybody's happy and nobody fights.
Oh, I like that.
Crushes are so innocent, man.
Mm-hmm.
Because when it goes beyond the crush and becomes a relationship, expectations seem to creep in. Whereas with a crush, there's no expectation. The crush just remains and the dream just remains.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
No.
you stay in innocence.
Yes, I love it. I love that.
And this, for me, the secret is that actually you can you you can absolutely capture that experience of the crush in a good marriage as time goes on. There's
Love is
space
a
for that.
crush.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna hold on to that one because what I have this kind of thing going on now is like I met someone and like I'm like you're an anomaly. Like I don't even know what to think about you. We have conversations of diverse levels of interaction. And he had asked me, he was like, do you want to be my girlfriend? I was like, wait a minute. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to be a girlfriend. Uh, how does that work? So I said, for now, no. But let's just be as we are. I was like, but I like the crush. I like the crush syndrome. Yeah. That's cute.
Well, the one, yeah, but also, when you think about it, the one talk that I was listening to with a yoga teacher, and when he was talking about relationships and and love as we, practice it, And he said, you think about it, when you fall in love, it's the falling that captures one. That's the sensation that is so expansive and so invigorating. And the whole point of yoga practice is that we realize that we get to choose what we want to be able to experience within ourselves. And that doesn't mean to say that you can't also choose the environment in which you want to be, to experience more of yourself. But start with yourself first. Make sure that you can dance with that vibration of the falling in love, the falling in love with life and all that it is. And I still think that our language limits us in these experiences. Hence the conversation, what is love? What do I expect of it instead of allow of it? Earlier in the conversation, Annette was talking about the birds in the rain and how we can tell, according to the bird's behavior, what kind of a rain it's going to be, or it is, or it's going to become. And so what comes to me from that is having the awareness of the ebb and flow of the elements, of water, wind as part of the air, and then of course there's fire. and how the birds know. And we could get to that point of awareness, being able to sense the ebb and flow of things. And if we know ourselves well enough, then we can sense where we can go that will facilitate the expansion for ourselves. And at this point, there's the belief that when we expand ourselves, we expand the space for everybody else in that expansion. And you were talking to that. For me, you were talking to that, Sandra, when you were describing Jesse and how, what he provides in this space with everybody.
I'm resting in your words of ebb and flow, and and sky providing that energy and permission and reminder of permission, that you don't need permission to ebb and flow, and to this new relationship is like a ebb and flow. Like I have no expectation of it. I get little expectations, but I'll be like, where did that come from? And there's this author, I can't remember which one it was. It's not Brendan Bouchard. It's another one. I think it's the guy from Mind Valley. And he did a book on bullshit rules, we call them rules. And it's like, I really don't want to receive anybody based on my past experiences. And so I've been pretty conscious of myself to be aware, where am I coming from when I have these expectations of something? And I'm like, am I coming from a place of defense? Am I coming from a place of rigidity? And and it's like, when I look at my past, and it's not a problem, it's but everything I believed in, everything that I was building on consciously and unconsciously, it failed me. But really, like, all of that stuff had to really break away in order to get to the freedom of me. So did it fail me? It raised me. That stuff raised me. That doesn't mean that that's what I am. And now I'm grown up and I get to choose for myself who, what, how I want to be. And it's not the fault of anything. It's not the fault of the past. It's not the fault of so-called failed marriages. Were they really failed marriages? Those were experiences to raise me. And it's good to be disappointed in other people in it, because you know what? You're not them. I can be no more disappointed in other people than I can be aware of who I am. I can still, discern their character that they're operating out of and how it integrates with me. But there's no requirement that I really get to have of them, or get for them to have of me. There's no requirement. It's collaboration at will. I just had another epiphany. Back to you, Allison. Thank you for the ebbing and flowing.
And I'm complete for now, I think. Thank you too.
This was a really good conversation this morning. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
So glad